Hey guys, so today we're going to do the unboxing and overview of two different classic American headphones that have been around for a very long time. And this is going to be actually my first time to look at these headphones, despite the fact that they're considered iconic. So the first one we're looking at is the Koss Porta Pro. This headphone is a very affordable headphone. It's retails for $40 MSRP. Yes, just $40 US. It's very affordable. And this is an American company that has been around since the 1950s. Koss actually produced the very first stereo headphone. So all the way back in 1950s. So they are a very historic American company. Despite the fact that Koss makes very affordable headphones, they don't really make many high-end headphones, but they do have a lot of influence, I would say, in the headphone history of of basically producing the first stereo headphones, I think, in the world. So yeah, Koss definitely has a lot of reputation. They've been around for a long time, even if they aren't exactly that respected by audiophiles because they don't make many high-end headphones. But still, I think Koss, as a historic headphone maker, deserves to get credit. And the Porta Pro is a design that they've had, I think, since the 1980s. And still, I guess, they're still selling it today, so I guess it must hold up today. I've heard people talk about it. I've never tried it, so I've always been curious to try it. So, yeah, take a look here. This is the original, and actually you can read the story of Koss here. Ever since I invented the world's first stereophone back in 1958, Koss stereophones have bringing back the excitement of live performance. Music lovers around the world recognize the dedication to accuracy in sound reproduction as the sound of Koss by John Koss, the founder. So yes, like I said, Koss made the very first stereo headphone back in 1958. Now, headphones did exist before that, of course, but I think Koss was one of the first, if not the first, to make a set of headphones actually dedicated for listening to music. Before then, headphones were mostly used as monitoring equipment. So people used to use headphones, I think, since the 1930s when headphones were invented. They've been used mostly for monitoring. But I believe Koss was one of the first, if not the first, manufacturer to actually make headphones for consumers to listen to, I think initially, their record players. So yeah, this is a very old classic design. Just look at that, right? Looks pretty geeky. Sound of Koss. Comfort zone, carrying case, collapsible design. Yeah. In any case, 60 ohms. It's not... actually, 60 ohms is a little bit higher than I expected, but hey, this is an old headphone. Old headphones usually have higher impedance. But yeah, I'm pretty curious to see what this headphone sounds like. It's just a design that's been around such a long time. So I wonder if it still holds up today. Let's check it out. And for such an affordable headphone too, I wonder. Hearing is believing, guys. Okay, let's take a look here. Oops, this way actually. Okay, this is the Koss Porta Pro Classic. Yeah, looks very small. I guess these are on-ear headphones, right? They're not over-ear headphones, but they're quite small. You have a limited lifetime warranty here. Of course, it will be made in like some Asian country, China or somewhere else. Comes with a carrying case. That's impressive. For $40 too. It comes with even with a carrying case. I mean, I don't expect that, but that's nice that it comes with a carrying case. And this only costs $40, so that includes the carrying case too. That's cool. And yeah, these are the Porta Pros, the classics. Wow. Okay, these are on-ear headphones, so they go on your ear. I usually don't listen to on-ear headphones because they're uncomfortable, but for the Porta Pros, I'll make an exception because they're such an iconic design, and I've always wanted to listen to how they hear like how they sound like. So you have a little switch here. It says firm and light. I think this is switching between the headband here. It's like adjusting the headband. Is that right? I think that's what this is for. It's for adjusting the headband here for firmness and lightness. Okay, interesting. And then you have, of course, a 3.5 millimeter jack because it's wired. Yeah, since it's an old design, very old school. And actually it collapses too. So it's really nice for portability wise. It's actually a lot more portable than many full-size headphones, right? because it collapses over like this. I'm guessing this came out about a little bit after the Sony Walkman came out. Sony Walkman, I think, came out in the late 70s. This came out in the 80s, so I think a lot of people probably use this to listen to their Sony Walkmans with, just on the go. And it's called the Porta Pro, partly because it is foldable and collapsible, and yep, you can just like put it in this little carrying case right here and just take it with you on a flight or something. So it is, yeah, quite portable. I mean, you have to remember that IEMs did not really exist back in that era, right? I mean, IEMs didn't really exist back then. I know that Eddie Modic and a few others probably made some IEMs back then, or some prototypes of IEMs, but IEMs really did not really exist back in those days. So really, this was what you had for portability. Just this in your Walkman. You put it in your bag like this, and then you go on a flight or something, right? Yeah, so this is as portable as you got back in the 80s. The Porta Pro fits in just like a little carrying case like this. Cool. All right, so yeah, that's a Koss Porta Pro. Very, yeah, it's a very iconic design from an iconic American headphone manufacturer. Next, we'll look at another iconic headphone manufacturer from the US, and that is Grado, or Grado. So this is going to be my very first unboxing and overview of any Grado product on my channel. I've always wanted to try them out, just never really got the chance because they don't really, like, Amazon doesn't really sell Grado from their own stores. Like, they don't sell Grado headphones. It's usually other third-party stores that sell them. So I usually only buy headphones if I can return them easily. I just usually review them and return them. So I haven't got Grado because it's been difficult to find anything that could be easy to return. But I guess I'll make an exception for this because I've always wanted to cover Grado on my channel. And this is their cheapest headphone, the SR60x, from their Prestige series. This has been around, I think, since the 1990s. So this is a classic, iconic design. Again, from an iconic American manufacturer. Grado has been around since the 1950s. They're known for headphones, which they've been making since the 1990s. But before that, they were well known for making phono cartridges. So Grado still makes phono cartridges today. But that's what's the original product. The original product was phono cartridges, which they made back in the 1950s and 1960s. And relatively more recently, they started getting into headphones. But nowadays, I think people think of Grado as a very classic, old-school headphone manufacturer. Because they were really one of the first to make audiophile headphones. Them and Sennheiser, Beyerdynamic, and Shure, or AKG. These are some of the old school names that were making audiophile headphones back in the day. So, anyways, the SR60X, classic Grado design. It's the cheapest headphone. Retails for about $100 US. And yeah, I've always wanted to try some Grado headphones. Just never got the chance to. So yeah, let's check them out. And what's really impressive is that Grado is a family-owned company. They're private. They've never been taken over by a big corporation, and they've always hand-built all their headphones in Brooklyn, New York. And that's no exception for the SR60X. I believe even this one, the cheapest one, even this one is hand-built in New York, which is very impressive, right? Even their cheapest one is still hand-built in New York, still made in America. So you got to give props to Grado. They've been family-owned for a long time, since they started. And they've been making their headphones all in the US ever since they started, and to this day as well. No offshoring. So that's pretty impressive. Anyways, I got this one a little bit cheaper because it happened to be an Amazon warehouse deal. But yeah, let's see. This packaging. How do you... Oh, I think it's from this side, maybe. Yeah, you can even see here. They give you the frequency response. Obviously, dynamic headphone here. You're not going to find planar magnetics from Grado. Yeah, impedance is 38 ohms, and they're hand built at Grado Labs in Brooklyn. So even their cheapest headphone here is still built in New York. So that's pretty cool. Because these days, of course, because everyone's cost cutting, usually for any kind of product virtually, you'll find it built in China or somewhere in Asia. But Grado, even their cheapest $100 headphone is still handmade in the USA, which is cool. And in New York, no less. That's definitely not cheap to make it there. But okay, let's take a look. Okay, here's what you get here. 3 generations of sound. So Grado family has been perfecting the art of sonic reproduction since 1953. That's when they started with the phono cartridges. The family has been kept the tradition of putting sound first. Yep, so it's the 3 generations family-run company. Okay, and this is the headphones. Yeah, very, very old school looking. Look at them. Okay, so yeah, the SR60X. This is their cheapest headphone that they make. It's still handmade in the US. And although it doesn't really seem like it's great build quality or anything, but anyways, the materials seem okay. Like headband here, some like soft leatherette material. And you can adjust your headphones like this. Yep, it's labeled right and left. It's pretty easy to tell which one. And yeah, this is a very iconic design from Grado. Once you see one of these headphones, you just know it's a Grado, right? In Master and Dynamic, another New York maker actually took their design inspiration from old school Grados. So if you see any similarities to some of Master and Dynamic headphones, that's where it came from. They came from the old school Grado inspirations. And all Grado's headphones basically have this design aesthetic. Some of their, like, of course, higher end headphones, they have like wood cups and stuff like that. And Grado makes headphones into, you know, over $1,000, I think. They don't quite go as high up as nowadays. You have, you know, brands like Dan Clark Audio, Hi-Fi Man, Audis, and Focal that go into the thousands and thousands of dollars. But Grado, I don't think goes that high end. They go past 1,000, but I think their most expensive model maybe tops at around 2,000 or something. They don't really go like super high end now, but still they do make expensive headphones as well as more affordable models like this one. The ear pads have always been a point of concern, I would say, for Grado, because the thing is, like, nowadays, when you're looking at audiophile headphones, they almost all have very nice ear pads, right? Like leather or leatherette or velour, you know, some kind of plush material. Grado has always stuck to using these old school foam ear pads, which honestly feel pretty cheap. Yeah, they do feel cheap. They don't feel comfortable. Yeah, they just feel uncomfortable and cheap. And I know this is the way that headphones were made back in the day. I mean, Koss also had that too, right? You look at Koss, they also have the little foam pads. This is just the way the headphones were made back in the day. And I know it's kind of like an old school thing, and they still make it the same way that they did back in the day. But yeah, this is very old material, something they would put on a headphone back in the 70s or 80s, and they're still making it like this. So yeah, they're not trying to upgrade the materials at all. They're just keeping the design exactly the same as it was before. I mean, I think they started with this in the 90s, but still, they haven't bothered to upgrade the material at all. It's the same foam pad you would find on old headphones. And I mean, it's a good and bad thing, right? A lot of people want to have this vintage look, and I guess this is part of the vintage look of these vintage looking headphones, because it's a vintage design. But then other people might be like, oh, this is not comfortable. This is cheap feeling. I want something more modern. I want, like, you know, leatherette or leather or velour or something. Yeah, it's not that. Anyways, yeah, I do really want to listen to these two headphones. They're actually, I wonder if this could be considered open back. It looks like it is. It could be open back. The Grados are definitely open back. Grado only makes one closed back that I know of. Actually, do they make any closed backs? I'm not even sure. I think Grado only makes open backs. Even their wireless option is open back. So I actually don't think that Grado really makes any closed backs. I was thinking of their wireless headphone, but then I remember even their wireless headphone is open back. So I don't really actually think Grado makes any closed backs. They've always focused on the open back type of design. But anyways, yeah, the Grado SR60X and the Koss Porta Pro. Two very iconic American designs, I'd say. And yeah, today I'm finally going to listen to these two brands, which I've been wanting to listen to for a long time. I just didn't get the chance to. Alright, so now I got the Koss Porta Pros and the Grado SR60X. I'm going to test them out now. So yeah, I'm gonna hook it up to my DAP here. This is my digital audio player. It is a Hibi RS6. So this is a $1,400 music player that I bought back 2 years ago, and I store all my songs on here. So this is what I usually use to play music. So yeah, these are just kind of cheaper headphones, which don't come with balanced jacks. It's fine. I'll just use the single-ended. All right, let's test it out. All right, so this one, let's see. Oh, actually you can tell the left or right based on, actually you'll say left and right here, but on the side right here. So that's cool. I found where it says that. Now these feel really flimsy and cheap, but, and they're on ears, so it's kind of like this. I kind of look silly wearing these actually, but these are very, very vintage headphones, right? Kind of look silly wearing these. So they're not that comfortable. I mean, I don't expect them to be comfortable given the build quality and the design. So they're not that comfortable, but hey, as long as it sounds good, right? Let's check it out. These are actually pretty impressive. So yeah, the Koss Porta Pros, the sound out of these, it's definitely a lot better than it looks. So I'm gonna just say that, like, honestly, you look at these things, they look really cheap and flimsy. It's like, okay, 40 bucks, how good could they sound? And they look really, really cheap and flimsy and stuff. Like, how good could they sound? Well, they're actually a lot better sounding than they look. Surprisingly, this has a lot of bass. So in fact, I think it actually might be a bit bass heavy. So for me, when I'm listening to it, the bass actually is bleeding into the mids a little bit. So, but the fact that it is that it has surprisingly, yeah, that's surprisingly boomy bass. So the bass is boomy and it does bleed into the highs a bit. I mean, bleeds into the mids a bit. So I don't really like the bass on these, but I'm just impressed that it has a decent amount of bass given the fact that it looks like this, right? I mean, the drivers cannot be that good. I mean, they're so small. I mean, the drivers, it can't be like really big drivers or anything like that, yet it has boomy bass. So I'm kind of surprised by that. But I don't like the bass because it bleeds into the mids a bit. The mids are okay, a little bit recessed in my opinion, but they're okay. And the highs are not that good actually. The highs are also a little bit recessed and they're kind of like, they're not snappy. They're like a little bit like blunted, I guess. The highs are a little bit blunted, a little bit recessed, and not very snappy. I guess the mids are probably the mids I probably like the most. They're just okay. The bass is a bit boomy, and it bleeds into the mids. But overall, I think for the size and the cost, these are actually really impressive. I don't think I've heard anything better at this price point. I mean, actually, just any headphone under 100 bucks, like. Give me any headphone under 100 bucks. The Koss Porta Pros will probably beat the best of them because these are actually really nice sounding. The amount of detail that you get out of these is surprising considering the size and the cost. So I think that's why a lot of people talk about the Porta Pros. They're kind of like a cult classic headphone now. A lot of people talk about them because, I mean, they're cheap and they're flimsy and like the build quality isn't that good and anything, but they sound pretty good for the price. I mean, for 40 bucks, these are probably the best sounding $40 headphones I've ever listened to. And in fact, it will probably compete with anything under 100 bucks. Cause yeah, as for over 100 bucks, yeah, there's definitely like, better sounding headphones, of course, but this will actually compete with headphones many times the price, which is in terms of sound I'm talking about. Yeah, of course, build quality, there's a lot better headphones than this, but in terms of just sound, this will actually compete with headphones many times this price because it's surprising, right? The detail is actually quite good. It's just that I don't really like the fact that the bass actually bleeds into the mids and the highs are a bit recessed, but it's impressive how much bass that this has given the fact that it looks like this. So anyways, very impressive. I'm impressed about the Koss. Like, wow, the Koss Porta Pros. I never expected something that folds up like this. It looks so cheap and flimsy, has like these small tiny drivers, and yet it produces a surprising amount of bass. That's actually impressive. All right, now let's check out the Grado SR60s. These ones, just like the Koss, it has these foam pads, which are very old school style. And yeah, let's check it out. These are not comfortable at all, and I'm not expecting them to be comfortable because they don't look comfortable, and they're not. Grados, in my experience, yeah, I don't think they're comfortable headphones. So, anyways, I can probably wear it for like maybe 30 minutes or stuff. I think after 30 minutes, I might get my ears might get a little bit, because these are like on ears. They're not over ear headphones. They're on ears. Like Koss Porta Pros too. These are both on ear headphones. So just the nature of the on ear headphones, coupled with the fact that these have, you know, these the cheap foam here, also coupled with the fact that the headband's not that great quality. Yeah, it's very cheap feeling as well, and I mean better built than the Koss, of course, but still a little bit cheap feeling and not that comfortable, just like the Koss. Neither of these are comfortable. They're both on ears. But yeah. And these are both open backs, I think. Okay, so yeah, Grados. So people talk about the Grado house signature or the Grado house sound, that all Grados basically sound the same, and I think the reason is because Grados tend to be very bright, and they're bright in a way that they're a little bit harsh sounding to a lot of people. To me, I think I kind of agree as well, actually. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of these. I'm not a huge fan of Grados. I mean, for what it is, this is like $100 headphone. It is good sounding for $100. Like, it does sound better than Koss Porta Pros. Even though the Koss Porta Pros do sound better than they look and they're better than its price, but the Grados do sound better. The bass is controlled. It's not like pushed up or recessed in any way. It's just controlled. The mid range is the same thing. It's also controlled. It's not pushed up, and it's there. It's present. It's just not really pushed up either. So all in all, it's like a reasonably, like the bass and the mids are balanced. I guess they're just both controlled, and the highs are pushed up a bit. And I think that's the thing about Grados, is the highs sound a little bit fatiguing to many people. The upper mid range too, as well, in my opinion. The upper mid range sounds forward, and the highs are a little bit forward too, and that makes it sound like female voices especially sound a bit nasally, I guess, because it's upper mid forward, so it sounds a little bit nasally, and the highs can be a little bit fatiguing and harsh. So I think that's the thing about Grados, is that some people really love them and other people hate them. They're a really polarizing headphone brand because of that. But I have to say the amount of detail that you get out of these headphones is pretty impressive for its price. So for $100, that's a good amount of detail. Decent bass, mids are okay. I don't like the highs, and I mean, it's just the Grado highs, right? Upper mid range is a little bit too forward, so I don't particularly like the sound signature, but I can understand why some people might like it, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, I don't really like the sound signature that much, but decent amount of detail for the price, so it's pretty good for the price. I think for $100, yeah, it's a nice sounding headphone for $100, for sure. So you can definitely, I think, compared to especially some wireless headphones, this will compete with any like wireless headphone many times the price. But for wired headphones, yeah, this is as good as any wired headphone as you would find at around that price range. So pretty good for the price. The detail is pretty decent for that price range. So SR60X. I just don't like the sound signature, but I think the amount of detail that you get out of these is pretty decent. Anyways, I think both of these headphones are pretty good for the price, actually. I don't necessarily like the sound signature of both of these, but I have to admit that the amount of sound quality and detail that you get out of these is pretty good for the price. I mean, the Koss Porta Pros for $40, like, they actually punch way above their price range here. Grado, same thing actually, for $100. Pretty good detail that you get out of these. So yeah, I don't particularly like the sound signature, but I think that the actual sound quality itself, like the amount of detail that you get out of them, is pretty impressive for the price that you pay. So that's it, guys. The Grado SR60X and the Koss Porta Pros, two, I guess, kind of iconic American headphones. They've been out for a while. I just wanted to check them out. So I'll do another test with both of these, and then maybe you guys can let me know which one you guys like better. So leave me your comments in the comment section below as always. And yeah, stay tuned for the next headphone video. I'll just keep going through. Maybe I'll finally pick one that I like the best and do a full comparison of them all, or just give you guys what I think of each. But yeah, for now, I want to do Grado and Koss today. So just wanted to get these two off of my back because I never really talked about them or reviewed them much on my channel. So I just want to take a look at them in this video. So that's it, guys. Let me know. As always, thanks for watching.